Hey everybody, this is Sean. I just wanted to do a quick intro to the podcast that Matt and I just recorded. We had our good buddy over, Jason, and we talked a lot about Lipscomb, which is a, you know what, you're just going to have to listen to the podcast and find out what Lipscomb is, the legend of Lipscomb. And then we unfortunately kind of ran out of time on this latest podcast, but we recorded second part to the ayahuasca experience that I had down in the jungle of Peru. And so I hope you guys enjoy the podcast, and I love you.
We're jamming, 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 jamming. And we're jamming in the name of the Lord. We're jamming.
Hey, this is Sean. I'm checking in, and it's a nice rainy day here in the jungle of Peru. And I was able to have my first experience with ayahuasca, and still processing everything. It's a pretty epic experience, and it's hard to describe right now to fully put it in words, but it's an amazing experience, and wow. Yeah, very awesome. Alright, so I just want to do a quick check-in. Thanks. Cabin fever, cabin fever.
Cabin fever. Cabin fever.
Any aggressive beer pong story reminds me of Lipscomb when the guy passed out on the beer pong table.
Oh, I can vividly picture that.
Yeah.
And I really wish I had my camera rolling at that time.
Oh my god.
It would have been epic.
I think that was one of the nights I wasn't there because I heard about it the next morning.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
You might have been doing the night shift.
Oh,
Yeah.
Night shift at the time.
Yep.
I remember I witnessed the aftermath. There was recycling everywhere and stories and whatnot. I was like, shit, somebody passed out in the kitchen? What the hell?
It was, it was one of those slow motion things for me. And then I think you and I were playing against someone else, and he was just standing.
We had just set up a new table.
Oh, okay.
And I guess he was just standing there, got lightheaded, and just timber.
Yeah.
And then knocked down the entire
table.
full table of
Beer
full
everywhere.
cups and beer everywhere. Dudes on the ground, and
Yeah.
and luckily no blood, nothing. He wasn't injured or anything like that. Just had to, get some fresh air and stand up. And
Yeah, but that's the thing. I remember him being back, like, in the kitchen within, like, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And just chilling.
Yeah.
Just doing one of those, like, that
Yeah,
didn't
I'm cool,
happen.
guys. No, nothing
I'm
happened
cool.
at all.
I mean, which
It's all good, it's all good.
I think anyone would do.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to recover.
Oh, absolutely.
But, yeah, man, he hit that table so fucking hard and was so loud that I thought, oh, shit, this guy needs an ambulance. Like, he's done. He's passed out.
Yeah, he really got lucky. I mean, he could have just face first right into the linoleum and just blood everywhere and broken nose and cracked head and concussion. But
Good thing with the beer pong.
the luck of Lipscomb.
Yeah.
Well, should we explain Lipscomb a little bit? Because we haven't really talked about it much here on the podcast.
No,
quite
we got
yet.
a couple of Lipscomb dudes.
Yeah, well, Lipscomb was basically a frat house, and it was the first time I had moved out. It was this nice little house in Mira Mesa. What was it, a 4-bedroom house?
4, yeah.
Yeah, it's Lipscomb, right off of Gold Coast. We had a little jingle. Lipscomb, it's a
I
Gold
forgot about
Coast.
that.
And that's about as far as we
Gold
got. But
Right on the corner.
yeah, we had a lot of guys living in one house, and it was quite a lot of fun. So we had someone living in the garage. We had 2 guys living in the master bedroom. I had a room, and then Jason had his own room, and then our good friend Chris, he had his own room. And pretty much every other night there was beer pong going, if not every night, and a lot of parties, random.
It varied. Sometimes it was like once a week, and then you'd go a couple weeks and nothing would happen. And
Oh,
then it would
right,
be
yeah.
like every night for like a solid week.
Yeah, exactly.
It was very...
And it was crazy because we all worked these bizarre schedules, you know. It was like we would all eventually meet up at some point, you know, either being someone's about to go to work or someone's, you know, just getting back from work kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it was a fun time.
That's funny. I never thought of it as like a frat house.
Yeah.
But it pretty much was.
Oh,
even
absolutely.
I don't think any of us were in school.
Nobody was in college. We all thought about it, I think, at one point.
Yeah.
But
We all. I mean, we all. I was there.
no,
just as
Matt
much
was,
as everyone there.
Yeah,
but
Matt
I
was
I
just
never
as part
lived
of
there.
Lipscomb as anyone.
Yeah.
He spent the night in his tent a
camp in the
couple of
backyard.
times. You know.
There were the permanent residents, and then there were sort of the honorary guests.
Yes. Yep.
And I think Matt and Andrew and Brent.
Oh, for
probably
sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I never knew. I was always excited to come over to Lipscomb because I just never knew what I was going to walk into.
Oh yeah. It was
You really
always
didn't.
random. And we play bocce ball a lot in the
that's right.
backyard. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we get super into that.
serious bocce tournaments going on.
Yeah.
I think what was it? Christmas? Remember that
Oh,
Christmas
that
with
was
the gift exchange and the
awesome,
feast
yeah.
that we cooked up?
Oh yeah, that was great.
I think that was still the best Christmas I've
Yeah,
ever
me
had.
too. Yeah,
It
collectively
really
we all
was.
came together. Like seriously, we were all random dudes, you know, for the most part. And we all came together on Christmas Day, and just we little gift exchange. Great food was made. Another great memory, also, it's kind of one of my more favorite Thanksgivings was when you and Sean cooked turkey and
Yeah, that
like
was
all
cool.
the fixings. And
That was cool.
Dave was one of the guys that lived in the master bedroom. His mom and her boyfriend or something.
Fiance, and their dog.
And the dog came over. We're all these dudes, like in our early to mid 20s, and we're all like high and drunk, and just
Random people
it just
from
didn't
Iowa in the
place.
house,
But
yeah.
you know, okay,
was
cool,
fun.
yeah,
It was
Dave,
fun.
have your mom come over. This will be awesome. It'll
Yeah.
be interesting.
Yeah.
And it was.
And she was a nice
fun.
lady.
She was great.
I remember I came over later on when we all took a trip to Thanksgiving Lane.
Yeah, that's
Street.
right. Yeah, there's a
yeah.
couple blocks from Lipscomb. Yeah.
Took a picture.
Yep.
That was
Yeah,
cool.
a street right down the it was like 4 blocks down. From
Yeah.
Lipscomb.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went to Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Oh, so
Posed
much
for-
fun.
Posed for a lot of really poorly lit, blurry photos.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun. It was cool.
Yeah, that New Year's Eve party I went to was in not that vicinity, but down in those Mira Mesa suburbs or whatever. And every time I go to that girl's house, I just think about the old Lipscomb days, the Gold Coast days. And then I was like, I really want to play bocce ball.
Yeah.
I wonder if I'm still good at it.
We'd have random theme parties. Like we did a really fun luchador party, so everyone wore like luchador masks or something.
I remember that.
Oh yeah, that's right. We had the sombreros.
To do with Mexico. Yeah.
That was sick.
Of course,
was
beer
fun.
pong was there.
I think that's when Bill showed up with his hookah and his 20-foot long clear hose, and we would smoke hookah, outside when it was inside. I don't know. It was just really funny.
I vaguely remember that.
And rip it.
Wasn't that the time that Andrew took his luchador mask and like split it down the middle, so because he thought it fit on his face better?
Yeah. Yes.
So he walked around with this like cloven luchador mask all night and called himself the Screaming Seagull or something.
That's
like that.
that's right. Yes, that's right. Great memory. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the screaming seagull.
Screaming Seagull or the Screeching Seagull or something.
Something.
Whatever it was really ridiculous.
Yeah.
Didn't Andrew lose his V in that car or in that house?
We did.
Yeah.
In my room.
And that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, my blanket.
Under my towel. No, there were no blankets. There was only my towel. That son of a bitch.
No, he did. I handed him a blanket. He was probably over him, but it was probably on top of your towel. But
That's nice.
his and her
I hope
naked ass body were all over
I
that
hope I don't
blanket.
still have it. Oh god. Yeah,
Sorry.
But yes,
that was really something. That
There was
Andrew
ups and downs.
Got lucky in
Yeah.
in Lipscomb.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, that was really something.
A lot of firsts for people probably in that
A
house.
lot of firsts. I remember
Crash pound.
I came home from work. I was doing the night shift, and I walked up to the front door, and I was aware that there had been some kind of celebration the night before, and so I knew that I would probably be walking into God knows what. But I was used to the door just being sort of left ajar sometimes. Or whatever,
Yeah,
so
right.
I didn't bother to unlock it, and I walked up.
No, that was a couple people living in the house with the door ajar.
I reached for the handle. It was actually a push lever. And before I could actually make contact and open the door, I saw something moving behind the glass. Remember how the glass was sort of like frosted? So
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't actually see who was back there. So I saw a movement. It looked like somebody coming to the door. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Coincidental timing. And this really haggard, unhappy-looking girl that I'd never seen before opens the door.
What would you say, like 5, 6 in the morning? Was it pretty early like that?
Yeah, it was like probably like 6:30,
Okay.
something like
Yeah.
that. She opened the door, flew open. I was like, oh, I didn't know this person. I was like, hey, how are you? And she didn't respond. She didn't even look at me. She just kept her eyes on the pavement and walked right by.
Shame.
I thought that was odd. And then I hear and Andrew comes flying around the corner. And he's like obviously on his way out the door, but he sees me and he wasn't expecting it. You could see it on his face. He's like, oh, God. So he stops. He's like, Mitch. You cannot go in your room. And bear in mind, there's no context for me at this point.
There's cum everywhere.
I just walked up to the door, and this is all just happening. He's like, you can't go in your room. And he's very upset about it. I was like, what are you talking about? No, I'll explain in a second. Just, you cannot go in. Stay right here. And, like, fly.
That's something you never want to hear after a
No.
night shift.
Yeah, I know. You're tired.
What
Yeah.
the fuck? Yeah, I really was not in the mood for that. But I was also intrigued. And so Andrew flies by me, and he really awkwardly hugs this girl. And I had no idea what was going on. I was like, all right, I don't... What? So Andrew paddles back over, and he's all disheveled. He's wearing, like, shorts and a super wrinkled white T-shirt, and his hair is all crazy. And he's like, oh, okay, let me explain something. And he goes on this whole rant about how, like, this quasi-weird one-night stand vague date rape thing happens. And it's arguable, of course. Nobody really knows what happens. But he explains this all, and he's like, I'm really sorry, but, like, I told her that this room was okay to use. Okay. And, dude, I don't know what to say. He's like, and I couldn't find any blankets, so I used your bath towel. Okay. So I walk in, and the room is in fairly decent shape, but the mattress is all, like, askew, and there's, like, a towel and, like, some random linen everywhere. And there was no smell. That was nice. But, of course, I had to burn everything.
All right.
But I didn't burn it, but I did. I used, like, half a can of Lysol in that room. But anyway, he goes on and on and on about it. I was like, okay, well, that's cool, I think. And I'm really sorry. He was very apologetic, and everybody was drinking. It was fine, but it was, like, the sort of thing where I didn't really want to spend an hour Lysoling my room right after work, but I was obliged to. But it was...
Yeah, before you could get comfortable, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was... And the whole time... do you guys remember Tom Bell?
Oh, yeah, yep.
Tom Bell and Brent were, like, curled up on the shortest couches, and they're tall guys. So, of course, Brent's, like this, and everybody... I think Chris is passed out in a pile of recycling somewhere. And, I mean, there's just crap everywhere, and I was like... Holy
the empty
crap.
jacuzzi?
Yes, I think the
The
jacuzzi was
jacuzzi.
back there. It was really something. And that sort of thing would just happen randomly.
Oh,
There
yeah,
was just
yeah.
no predicting any of this. And that's, I think, what really made it such an interesting place to live. It's like you could never tell what was going to happen like an hour from when.
We could only take a year of it, but for that year, it was a lot of fun, a lot of great memories, and it really happened at the perfect time in all our lives, I think,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it again. Lipscomb 2.0.
It'd be the
30s.
most boring house ever.
Just like...
A comparative study for science.
Beer pong with, like, non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah, it's like 6 in the afternoon. Let's
Yeah.
wrap it up, guys. I gotta go to bed.
Yeah.
I gotta work
I'm gonna
at
take a
11
quick
tomorrow.
nap.
Yeah.
We still play lots of bocce.
I think if something like that were to happen, I think it would be cool.
Oh, I would totally do it
I
if
think
we
it
were to
would
find, like, a sick-ass house somewhere.
Yeah, we could find like a cooler area
Yeah,
or something.
absolutely. I would definitely do
It'd be
it.
cool to get like a house or duplex or something down kind of like the North Park, South Park, University Heights area.
Yeah.
It might be kind of cool. Because
Yeah, some with like other people our age around too that aren't necessarily like families.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
we're just like the forgotten generation.
Yeah.
Still like adolescents at heart.
Yeah.
You're sort of the black sheep of the street.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah.
You really were.
And pretty much the entire time at Lipscomb, I was always taking little videos and things like that. And my idea was to eventually come up with the Lipscomb Chronicles and do like a page, kind of just dedicated to it. But there's too many things that I've recorded that I don't think people would appreciate, having out there.
Just no
in
context,
there.
too.
Right, yeah, no context. There's, unless I was to go in and narrate them or something like that. But I do have a great video of Andrew recounting his losing his V card with that chick, and
I felt so bad.
A nice fucking my lady.
yeah.
That'd be funny if he had said that when he came running out of his room. Thanks for the fucking my lady. She just burst into tears.
Yeah.
Thank you for baiting me.
Yeah, because we banged.
She probably had to drink so much just to forget that night. Oh, that poor girl.
Poor Andrew.
Who-
Andrew, if you're listening to this at any point in the future, like right now, we do like you, Andrew.
Oh, I love Andrew. I wish he
best.
didn't. I wish he didn't live so
Andrew's
far
the
away.
best.
Yeah.
I always liked Andrew. I always appreciated when he was around.
Absolutely.
Because he's got that goddamn wild card.
He is
Like
a wild card for
like
sure.
the luchador thing, I don't remember that at all, but I'm like, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I've told this to Sean before. I remember being at parties at Lipscomb with Andrew, and at some point in the night, we'd both end up just like standing near each other, and then we'd engage in the most random conversation ever. And I'd be so into it.
Yeah.
Because I just want to hear him, like, whatever he's got to say. I was just like, I want to hear this.
And that's the thing about Andrew.
And it wasn't always funny. It would be serious, too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
And well, Andrew, that's the thing about Andrew is a lot of people see the outer super random Andrew, you know, with no context and all that. But there is actually an intellect behind it. He's a smart guy.
The guy has a master's. I mean,
I know.
it's no shit. Like, he's an intelligent guy.
He's an intelligent
for
guy.
sure.
His heart's in the right place. And
Yeah.
it's just a weird mix of character traits.
Exactly.
And actually, I talked to Nick a couple times. I still talk to him every once in a while. And I guess he and Andrew got into conversations of a philosophical nature or whatever. You know, Nick was kind of like that too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Nick found Andrew really thought-provoking.
Yeah.
Nick, like, days afterwards, he'd be like, yeah, you know, I'm still thinking about that conversation that Andrew and I had.
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right, cool. And then he'd run off. And
Yeah.
it seemed like
Disappear in the shadows.
Yeah, he
he
was known as the Phantom.
Oh, that's right, the
Lipscomb.
Phantom.
The Phantom.
Just show up in the hallway every once in a while.
Yeah.
You turn around and you're like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
And be like,
Yep.
yeah, that's true. And I think I'd have the same reaction too with Andrew. You know, all of a sudden we were just, you know, I wish I could recount more of it, but
Yeah.
it was always thought provoking and you know, I don't know. It was just like if you're in party mode, you know, like I get into, or you were like I'm excited, like talking to everybody. It was just like taking a step back, breaking the fourth wall, and then like being somewhere else all of a sudden, and then going back to the party, all within the party.
Yeah.
Stepping away and then stepping back.
Yeah, so funny, man. That's cool. He's such a hardworking guy too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'll give it to him. Moving out the middle of nowhere in Nevada, and you know, kind of starting his life out there.
Well, to work in a maximum security prison
Yeah,
with no correctional experience, I mean, that's
right.
something.
Yeah, I would love to pick his brain out. Because is he going on 2-3 years living up there now?
Couple
Couple years,
years.
yeah. I'm sure he's got some crazy stories if he's able and willing to share. I'd love to talk to him.
I'm
Pick
sure
his
he would.
brain.
I'm sure he'd like it.
Absolutely.
So when's the last time did you go out and visit him? Recently?
We've
Or no?
tried to visit Andrew before, but it's very difficult. He's either busy or he's unwilling for some reason to make the drive out of the mountains. You know, I don't know. Sometimes it's things like scheduling, and then other things it's a little more esoteric. Like, Andrew, we're going to be in Vegas. Well, I can't make it. Okay, but we're going to be in Vegas. You should come down. Well, no.
Oh, okay.
Like, all right. Well, if you change your mind, like, come down because we never see you. You know.
Yeah.
Can you recount some of the icings that you've performed on him?
You know what? Did I tell you guys that I got iced by his mom?
Oh,
No,
really?
no.
On Christmas Day, Rhonda, Andrew Bofer's mom, iced me.
This Christmas?
Yeah.
Oh
What?
no! What?
She
Oh, no,
iced
this
me
is new.
In his name.
Oh, what a kick-ass
Damn.
mom.
Yeah, I was like, Rhonda's a cool lady, but she has a wild side, and she's known as Rhonda Rita because she makes these insanely delicious, insanely strong margaritas.
Yeah, when Andrew was still in San Diego, we would always go over to her house for
That's
Super
right. You were
Bowl
there a couple times.
all the time, and she threw awesome parties.
Yeah.
Awesome parties.
And so she's got that streak, and apparently Andrew, the last time he was in town, he was telling her about the icing thing. She's like, "Oh, that sounds funny. I'm going to do that to Jason because I have one in the freezer right now." So she put it, and I should have known.
But it's from Rhonda.
Yeah.
You can't expect that.
But she walked up with this gift bag that had a bunch of tissue paper on top of it. She's like, "Oh, and this is from Andrew. He couldn't be here to give it to you himself personally. So this is, I'm giving it to you on behalf of him." She hands it, and she sets it down, and you can hear from the sound that it's obviously glassware and it's not empty. and it's coming from Andrew, and I can't see it, which
Right.
means I have to take possession of it without seeing it. That should have been a trio of red flags.
Right.
It wasn't. I wasn't paying attention. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. And he and I used to do handle nights, and so I thought, oh, maybe he got me just like, randomly a thing of, American honey or something.
Yeah.
Turns out it was a Smirnoff Ice. And it wasn't even refrigerated.
Oh my God.
And so I was like, oh, son of a bitch.
And did she know the rules
she
and everything?
knew it. Andrew must have explained everything. to her,
Yeah.
because
She whip out her phone?
She did. Along with everybody else there. So
Wait, where was this again?
This was at Andrew. So he has an aunt and uncle, Diana and Greg, that live in Penasquitos, and so they always do Christmas at their house, and they invited me up for Christmas dinner.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I was there, and so it was aunts and uncles and his mom and random cousins of Andrew. His brother was there randomly too. And so, I mean, these are people that I've met before, but they're obviously his family.
Yeah.
Like, I see them maybe once a year, sometimes twice a year. And so this happens, and Rhonda says, I thought maybe I could just go into the kitchen and get down on one knee and drink it, and that would be the end of it. I was like, well played, that's nice. And Rhonda's like, absolutely not. You're going to go over there by the Christmas tree in the center of the living room. And you're going to get down on one knee and do this. And
man.
I really didn't have a choice being the guest in their house and being the victim of that. I went over by the Christmas tree, got down on one knee in front of like a dozen, maybe 15 of Andrew's assorted relatives.
Oh my
and like 10 cell phones. And
Oh, wow.
Got down and chugged this thing, this lukewarm, sugary, god-awful thing.
Ugh.
Like in front of all these people.
Was it a one of the big boys? Big
No,
bottle?
no.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got lucky in that regard.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Still,
I probably,
just one bottle's enough to
it
make
really-
your stomach
it's like
gurgle.
drinking acid. It was terrible.
So
But
long
yeah,
since I've had
and
one.
then I didn't know this at the time, but I thought Andrew had put his mom up to it, but apparently she took it on herself to do this. I didn't know that, so I sent Andrew, like immediately afterwards, I sent Andrew this message that said, "You goddamn son of a bitch." But to him, there was no. He didn't know
No
about
context,
it. So
yeah.
He just got this text.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh,
What did I do?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got iced by Andrew's mom randomly.
That is so funny.
That's epic.
But yeah, we.
Oh my gosh, that makes that
So
makes my day.
he told her about it, but then she decided on her own that she was just going to do it.
She thought it was funny, and
Yeah.
she just happened to have one in the freezer. And She
Okay.
knew I was coming over. She's like, "Oh, this will be funny,"
Right.
kind of a thing.
Just decided to take it out 12
Yeah.
hours early and
I-
give you the warmest icing ever.
I underestimated Rhonda. I did.
Oh man,
Man,
that's so
I
funny.
wish I'd gotten to meet this woman.
Oh.
I've never met any of Andrew's kids.
Okay,
So.
okay.
Yeah.
She's a real interesting lady.
Yeah,
The-
I would.
I was
I
going to
would
say
imagine.
the mom's the coolest of all the family that
Yeah.
I've met,
Yeah.
of the immediate members.
Yeah.
Not to say that the dad and the brother aren't their own interesting thing.
Well,
whatever.
personally, and I've
I don't mind him.
I've told this to Andrew already, so I'm not worried about insulting anybody. But I really can't stand his brother. I think his brother's a horrendously awful person.
He definitely treated Andrew pretty poorly
Yeah.
for a lot of years.
We have a good arrangement though. He doesn't speak to me, and I don't speak.
Perfect.
To him. So it's like
Perfect.
there's no problems at
Yeah.
all, and I like it that way.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, with that being the one exception, Andrew's family is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Actually, his uncle Greg works for Scripps. He's one of the IT guys. So he and I sit around and talk about the various computer systems and what's going on at various locations, and we know a couple of the same people. And so
okay.
It's kind of cool.
That is neat.
Like one of the Scripps guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew has a solid family.
That's good.
Yeah, really, really nice, generous, outgoing people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Jamie hasn't
go
gotten
for
any
it.
in a while.
Go for it. You
But
got
yeah,
it.
We've definitely iced Andrew a couple times, and it's funny with Andrew because he when you ice Andrew, you get a show. It's not like when you ice Brent, he says something, there's a string of obscenity, and then he gets down on one knee and he chugs it, and that's it.
Man's up and does it.
But with Andrew, it's always he chugs it, and he has to do it almost like Captain Morgan with his hand on his hip, and his leg thrust forward, and all of this.
The Andrew show.
Yeah, the Andrew show. And then when he gets up, usually something happens, like he runs over to the nearest hedge and barfs all over. Which is what happened the last time up in LA. I think that was the last time we legitimately iced him. It was Stephanie's idea. We got Brent and Andrew at the same time, and we got them the double-sized ones. We were feeling cruel that night. I don't remember why. And we actually got Andrew the screwdriver variant.
Oh.
So it was this orangey, disgusting, sugary thing.
Oh.
That was cold, in our defense, but still, that's a lot of Smirnoff to get down in one meal.
Yeah.
And,
For sure.
He drank it, and then he tried to do the whole mind over matter, fingers pressed to the temple thing, and then he immediately ran over to the bushes, and like the loudest retching you've ever heard at like 2 a.m. Just all over the bushes, and then he comes back over, and we're all kind of vaguely disturbed. We're like, crap, we didn't mean to do that to him, you know. He comes over. He's like, well, you know, on the bright side, I think that I really kept that to the absolute minimum. Like, no, Andrew, actually,
That's the loudest poop I just heard.
you woke up half of Pasadena. I'm sorry, man, but that was the loudest thing. He's like, no, I'm pretty sure I really kept it pretty quiet. We're like, no.
That's
Have
hilarious.
a beer.
I kept it quiet. That's awesome.
Oh man.
Yeah, I wish Andrew was around more. I miss that guy.
Yeah.
I really do. He's a good guy.
Miss you, Andrew. He won't listen to this.
Lipscomb 2.0, you know.
Yeah.
He's
So
like,
he
I'll be
does
there.
listen to this podcast.
Oh, he does.
He does.
Oh.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, Andrew. We're gonna have you on soon, Andrew.
Yeah. I should say. Is he on Facebook? Yeah, he's
Oh,
on
yeah, yeah.
Facebook.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He occasionally posts something random.
It's exceedingly random. I think as far as random Facebook posts are concerned, he and Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
Oh, yeah, Dave.
Dave cracked me up.
Yeah, he's got some funny ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll just...
I like what you said, Matt. Like, you think sometimes that he's one of the moderators of our Circle Jerk?
Yeah, Circle Jerk. That's
He's
what he
almost, like, almost, maybe, you know?
Yeah. He Circle Jerks Facebook.
Yeah.
It's he does. It's so funny every time.
Dave's another one of those guys where he's got a lot of random commentary, but he's actually a really smart guy.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
got a lot. He's very well cultured and whatnot. And he's got a lot of really intelligent things to say, but he has, you know, that sarcastic way of conveying.
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy his posts, frankly. I like
Oh,
Yeah,
me
me
too.
too.
What was it the other day? He'll add random life events.
Oh.
And he said, the other day was like he bought too many hot dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he felt ashamed after
I was just like, yes, these are so awesome.
And there was one like a day before that where like the life event was like he spooked one of his friends. Like he startled somebody or something. It was awesome.
I know. Every time he does it too, I'm like, man, I could never even think of something so mundanely funny. That he should be a writer.
Yeah, he should be
write.
writing or
should.
doing
Doing
shit on
stand-up or
Twitter.
something.
Yeah, stand-up
Or
comedy.
yeah, Twitter would be super
just be
funny.
some. Yeah.
Yeah.
He could
He could
write,
do
he could
it.
easily write for like super dry comics.
Yeah, he's got a
and
beard
stuff like
for comedy anyway, so yeah, he
Yeah.
should definitely get on there.
that. Does he still work for Target?
I think he's in Ohio, back in Ohio now. But
I think he came back.
Oh, okay.
I thought he came back.
Yeah,
I didn't
don't
realize
know.
that he moved away at all.
Well, he might have just been visiting for the
Oh,
holidays.
he was
or
in
something.
Iowa recently.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
visiting family, but I think he was just
Iowa,
visiting
not Ohio. Yeah.
because he described it as a vacation of sorts.
Okay.
So, because all of his family's back there, so that's where he comes from originally.
Man, that is so funny.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking recently it would be cool to get like a Lipscomb reunion together.
Oh, that would be epic.
Get everybody in
That'd
the
be
same
awesome,
room
yeah.
and just have a beer and just reminisce and just talk and see where everybody's at, see where everybody wants to go.
Yeah, a lot of people,
Yeah.
they're all
Jump
leading
into
different lives.
fast.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
think it'd
that's
be kind
right.
of fun.
Yeah, some of us are dads now. Old Nick's got a kid now.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. Sean Berg is wherever he is.
And
Sean's funny. Sean dropped off the face of the earth for like a year and a half. Like not even Nick and Dave knew where he was. Like he didn't respond to anybody. And then just recently he reappeared and now he's on Facebook again. And like he invited me to a hike recently.
Oh, wow.
I was like, holy crap, that's amazing. If I wasn't working that day I would totally go.
Yeah.
But it was like on a random Thursday morning or something. But yeah, I mean Sean Berg for all intents and purposes is back. And
Wow.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But he's back.
Wow.
He's on Facebook again.
Yeah.
Epic.
That's weird.
So Sean, you've probably talked about this already, but your experiences in Peru, right?
Yeah, man. This is this is our part
I
two
heard
of kind of talking about my experience down in the jungles of Peru.
I would love to hear about it.
So yeah, well, I'll kind of try to take it off from where I left it in the previous podcast. But yeah, I'll just do a quick kind of brief
recap.
little recap of what I went through. So yeah, it was like a long journey down there, a lot of flying. Obviously, you get down there. So yeah, we only on the first podcast we only hit on maybe like two or 3 days of actually being in the retreat. And so I was able to experience one ayahuasca ceremony,
Okay.
and it went amazingly. Like, it was a very emotional and visually, like, impactful experience, like, with this plant medicine known as ayahuasca. And ayahuasca, basically, it's a DMT brew. It's got the DMT from the chacruna leaves and a couple other leaves that come from the Amazon.
Okay.
And then the ayahuasca is a vine, and it grows only in certain areas of the jungle, pretty much. So, you know, it's got to have, like, certain conditions for it to be able to grow. And that's a DMT inhibitor, or the actual ayahuasca vine does something within your digestive system, because our digestive system naturally has a DMT blocker. So, like, say if we were to just eat all those leaves without the ayahuasca vine, nothing would happen.
Okay.
But when you add the ayahuasca vine in conjunction with the, you know, different leaves that have the DMT in it, it has the ability for the DMT to take a full effect.
Okay.
And yeah, with this first experience, it was I had really powerful visions and experiences centered around my mom. So it alleviated a lot of past anger and stress and resentment and just these bizarre feelings that had been latched on
Like in the back of your mind.
in the back of my mind for a very long time, that had to concern my mom and just her, you know, growing up. And she was a single mom raising me, so she obviously had a huge part of my life. And she was relatively young when she had me. She was only 24 years old, so, you know, I remember being 24 and then thinking, like, oh my God, I can't believe my mom actually had a child at this age and was trying to, like, make her way through the world. But the ayahuasca kind of it's hard to describe. You haven't really done it. Like, it's pretty similar to psilocybin, but on a whole different level. Like, it is like 100 times more powerful and really gets to the root of the problems. And that's what my intention was. My intention was to neglect the negative and to nourish the positive. And basically that intent was to stop me putting any energy into any negativity that has taken hold of my psyche, and to start nourishing the positive, you know, things that I want to do and pursue in my life. And the first ceremony was very powerful. Like, it whatever my intention was going into it, it did its job. Like, it was pretty amazing. And I wanted to kind of go into a couple of visuals that I didn't get to in the previous podcast. And one of them was, I had this really powerful vision of a woman's face. And how I described it, it kind of has like a pearl sheen to it. You know what I'm saying? Has like kind of like a rainbow type of color to it. Sure. So one half had like an obsidian black color to it, and the other half was a white, like, pearl color. And in my mind, I was taking it as, because they describe ayahuasca as Mother Ayahuasca. It's got a very feminine energy to it, and that's kind of how I took that image. Was her kind of showing me duality of life, and how I kind of took that first experience, because the first experience was, the first half of it was kind of frustrating for me, because when you do ayahuasca, you have this, you purge, so you eventually throw up, and I was putting a lot of thought and energy into, you know, just getting through the purging process and letting go, and I think the first ceremony really was centered around the duality of things, and I kind of thought that image kind of described what it was, like, with the two faces. There's always two sides to what's going on. It was kind of like a yin and yang thing, like the good and the bad kind of coming together to, you know, in harmony to create like a positive, you know, balance in your life. And I've always kind of had this idea of, like, with the bad comes the good, because you know, to experience bad things, it makes you appreciate the good things that you have in your life. So the first experience was pretty powerful, and a couple other visions that I had was, and when I say visions, like the actual imagery that I see, it's not like a clear, like if I was to, just my imagination, like close my eyes and think of the beach, and it's in,
vivid color. It's like HD, like you can see the, like say it's sunset, you can see the blues and the oranges and the reds and stuff during a sunset. But the visions that I kind of saw was more of like a neon outline of being blues and greens and things like that, and everything else in between was black. So this specific vision I saw right before I purged was these 4 vines hanging down. So like I'm looking out at this jungle scene and specifically see these 4 vines hanging, and they all have like the outline of the vines are in like a neon green type of look to it. And so this is probably like maybe like a minute or two right before I'm purging, and at this point I'm kind of just laying back on my mat while I'm there, and then at the head of my mat is a purge bucket. So it's this big old bucket, you know, where you're supposed to do your thing, and I just see the 4 vines get pushed aside. I didn't see a hand or anything, but it almost felt like that was like, okay, it's time to come in. It was like the door was opening. Now it's a time. And then, like, you know, like I said, like 1 minute, maybe 30 seconds before that, and then it starts to hit me, and I'm like, okay, that queasy feeling, and then you start salivating, and you're like, okay, now it's really time, because before that I was just kind of dry heaving, really anxious, just wanted to get it out, and then eventually it just kind of, boom, just a hurricane force of purging. It was pretty loud, and I was one of the last people to purge, and I was the first person to actually go up there and you know, have that bowl of ayahuasca in my hand and do my intention. So in my mind, I was kind of thinking, you know, if I'm the first person to do it, I'll probably be one of the first people to do it. But it turned out to be I was one of the last people to do it. And it was like closer to the end of the ceremony, and it's pretty powerful. And then, so after I purge, I have this flood of images from my childhood, be it like cartoons. Like I have this powerful image of, remember the TV show Dinosaurs? Yeah. So I had the image of the dinosaur show, and then I had like cartoons like G.I. Joe, X-Men, Ghostbusters, you know, Legos that I loved when I was young. Like all these things started flooding back to me, and then images of my mom started popping up, and me just hugging my mom, and my mom's mortality, like, because she's turning 55 in April, and I was down there, and I had just turned 30, so there's like the next day after I turned 30. So it's like I just had like this realization that, you know, my mom's not going to be around forever, and I really do need to, you know, just take a step away from all that negativity. And it really just kind of melted away, and it was like a huge relief off my shoulders, and it just kind of left me unblocked and free to just kind of reestablish a good, positive relationship. Not that I had a bad relationship with my mom, but, you know, always in the back of my mind, you know, a little bit of anger or resentment, or just like was always there. It's still there. It's not completely gone, but it's definitely alleviated, and I feel much better about myself and my mom's relationship now. And I was able to meet up with her for the holidays and stuff, so it was nice to kind of like reconnect with her, hug her, and, you know, kind of explain my journey and everything that I went through down there. It was pretty amazing. And then another visual that I saw was we do the ceremony, and it's called a maloka, and it's this big open kind of ceremonial area. It's all covered with netting, so, you know, no bugs or anything get in there, but you have clearly hear the jungle sounds and all that good stuff, and there's no light pollution or anything like that. So it's a completely dark room when you actually do ayahuasca, and you know, really get into the throes of it. And so I'm looking out towards the middle of the maloka, but my eyes are still closed, but I can clearly see what looks like where the jungle used to be before the maloka was built. So I see trees, I see animals, I see things just out, and just like a nice jungle scene. And like I said before, everything's kind of black, but all the outlining of everything is in like neon greens and blues and yellows. And to my left is Don Howard, Don Robert. They're the ayahuasqueros, and they're kind of running the whole ceremony. And while they're doing this, they're singing, they're called icaroses, and they're songs that are in Spanish, and they just kind of keep like a nice beat and kind of keep the whole ceremony moving forward. And the Icaroses are basically singing about the medicine power of ayahuasca, wachuma, and babasana, and these different things that we got to try throughout the whole retreat while we were down there. They smoke these things called a mapacho, and it's kind of like a cigar shape. And mapacho is a black Amazon tobacco, so it's like real tobacco. It's nothing added to it like chemicals or anything like that. So it's like legit stuff, and that's also considered like a plant medicine. And they use it a lot in ceremonies and rituals, not just like ayahuasca stuff. And so to my left, I'm right here at the altar, and they're singing their Icaroses, and one of them lights up their mapacho. And then so at this time I do have my eyes open. And it's completely pitch black except for the flash of the lighter that goes on. And then what looks like right to my right, it just looks like this giant tree growing out. And then like I visually like clearly saw what looked like a tree, and just like the quick flash of the lighter, it just kind of lights up the room. And it just really did look like this giant ass jungle tree just grown out of the Maloka right next to me. And then of course it disappears as the light kind of fades away from the lighter being lit. And that was another interesting kind of visual that I saw from that first ceremony. And it was probably about 2.5 hours, 3 hours long, the entire ceremony. And the entire time there's Icaroses going on and off. Like, there'll be silence for maybe like 5 minutes, and you just listen to the jungle. And then every once in a while you hear like someone purging or dry heaving. So now let's fast forward to ayahuasca night 2. And this is the second ceremony. And this ceremony, I wasn't anxious. I wasn't nervous because I had experienced the first night. Pretty powerful experience. And I knew that ayahuasca works, It wasn't just like something you heard about and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But yeah, it definitely works, and it did its job. And so the second night, I felt even more relaxed than I would say than I did the first night. Because eventually when I did purge, it just felt really good. Like it was just a big relief to just finally get past that stage. And unfortunately, like the second night, I didn't actually ever really purge, and that does happen every once in a while. My intention was different going into the second night. And the second night my intention was to focus more on my body. Like I want to heal my body, be it from I don't know, just drinking or smoking hookah or marijuana or whatever it would be, just trying to purge my body of any toxins or, whatever I thought ayahuasca could do for me. And, maybe having that intention didn't, require me to purge. I don't know. I mean, it happens from time to time. I did feel queasy and kind of had like dry heave a little bit, but never actually purged or anything. Like, I was dry heaving and just kind of let out like a nice burp, and after that I felt really good, and I kind of just accepted. I'm like, okay, some people don't purge, just relax. If I'm going to purge, I'm going to purge. If not, just lean back on your mat and just lay there and enjoy the Icaroses and and enjoy the night. And so that's what I kind of just said to myself, and that's pretty much what happened. I didn't really have any visuals the second night. I kind of just took it as just kind of being there in the moment and enjoying the ceremony for what it was. And I did hear a couple of people kind of having emotional experiences, a little crying, things like that. And I felt really good, like for them, like I had like a big smile on my face. Just I was happy just knowing that they were able to, maybe work through some things that are probably pretty emotional, obviously, if you're, led to tears.
How were the other people? Like the other people
amazing. All the people were fucking awesome, and it was all different walks of life. The youngest person there was 28, 29, somewhere in that range, and the oldest person there was 62, and everyone in between. I would say the average was mid-30s probably for the majority of people that were there. But yeah, I mean, it was a huge range of people, and they were all awesome. At the end, I think it was around 24 people that were there, including myself. So it was a pretty big group of people that were there. And so I think the hardest part was just like trying to learn everybody's names after a while. But, you know, once you start getting to talk to each other and, you know, people are like, hey, what's that guy's name over there? What's that chick's name? And, you know, all eventually kind of help each other learn each other's names. But yeah, they were all really, really cool people. And then by the end of the whole, you know, after so many ceremonies, doing 3 ceremonies with ayahuasca, doing a ceremony with Wachuma, doing a ceremony with Bobasana, and then the last ceremony was with Vilka, which is a DMT snuff. And you take it out of this hollowed out bone that's over 3,500 years old, and it's been used, you know, previously in that same ceremony, and then it was excavated, you know, however many years ago, and now it's being used for what it originally was being used for, which was the Vilka ceremony, which is pretty neat. And then that was the last ceremony that we did. So, I mean, after all that, we were all, like, pretty connected, and like I said, like, these talking circles, like, it can be pretty emotional, like, depending on how much you really want to share. So it's like, you really are learning a lot about, you know, with 23 other people, if I'm the 24th, you know, you're learning a lot about someone in a very short amount of time, depending on how open you want to be and, you know, that type of thing.
Sounds really, really interesting.
Yeah, man. It's been pretty emotional and pretty fucking epic. Like, there's a lot of emotional stuff going on, but in just being there in the jungle and experiencing no Facebook, no computer, I did have that stuff. Like, if I wanted to, I brought my Kindle Fire so I could check those things, but I tried to steer clear from that. Get in touch with nature, you know, get in touch with some different people and just decompress. And just being down there alone is awesome. Really, really fun.
Cool. I think I'm curious about the sloths. And I ask this on behalf of most of Reddit. I think you should tell us about the sloths.
Yeah, okay.
I would like to know about this.
Absolutely. Okay, so I forget what day it was, but we got to go visit a animal sanctuary, and these animals were either rescued from poachers or they were, injured at one point. So now they have this animal sanctuary, and when you go there, you can, you know, do a donation or you can buy their trinkets or something to kind of help maintain their thing. And when you first get there, they have all these, I forget what kind of monkeys they are, but they have all these monkeys just wandering around, and they have little kids there, and they'll hand you fruit, and the monkeys will jump on you because, you know, they want the fruit. And that was the coolest part, was just having like a monkey hang off of you and, you know, climb on your arm and your shoulder, and that was really, really neat. And then, so yeah, once you're done playing with the monkeys and, you know, and having a good time with them, we make our way down the pathway, and they have a cage with toucans, a cage with this big ass, crazy looking, I think it was a snapping turtle, and then eventually we get to the cage with these 2-toed sloths. And there's 2 in there, and I'd never been that close. Obviously, I got to touch it. It was like right there. I'd never been that close to a sloth before. They are really the neatest little animal ever. They're just chill, and they have this funny, the funniest little look on their face. And actually, we were there. They had left the door open, and one of the sloths made its way out. It was like trying to escape, and actually made its way to like one of the outside tree area. And my roommate Kyle was able to kind of run over and help wrangle it with one of the guys that worked there, and that was a pretty funny moment.
Sloth wrangling.
Yeah, man. I had no idea they move so quick, but when they see freedom, they're like, "Look it, get out of here!"
Wow.
But yeah, the sloths were really, really neat, and that's just the first experience we got with the sloth. Later down the road, one of the tribes, they had a pretty young sloth. It was a 2-toed sloth, and that one was really lively. That was pretty
really?
cool. Yeah.
Like lively how?
It was just I think because it was a younger sloth, it, you know, it was just moving around a little
more
bit
active.
More. Yeah, a lot more active.
That's really cool.
Didn't have that the moss growing on it quite yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did that escapee expend like 2 months worth of energy?
Oh, I'm
like,
sure. Yeah. Now he's
get
like,
out?
oh fuck, time to take a 80-hour nap or something.
He'd been saving up.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Really
Biding his time.
exhausted all the reserves.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that animal sanctuary, I wasn't expecting it. And then they had a 9-foot anaconda. That was pretty neat. I'm not really a big snake person, but I did pet it just to say that I had got to touch an anaconda, and that was pretty neat. Yeah. Where I wasn't expecting that many animals, and to actually be able to interact with them and touch them and just be around them. It was really,
Sounds
really
really
good.
cool.
Yeah, that was fun. Hey.
Did anybody in Peru have a horse head?
No horse heads in Peru.
Not at
Not
all?
one.
Damn.
I didn't even see a real horse.
That's
actually.
something you can bring when you go down.
Yeah.
I think I might have to do that.
It'd be perfect.
Well.
We're in the ceremony.
You get stopped at every airport checkpoint.
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is your intention?
Show up on the X-ray screen
Yeah.
every single time.
I feel like only in America would you get flagged.
Probably.
You know, everywhere else
yeah.
would be like, ooh.
What was the food like? Was it specifically catered toward the Western palate, or was it inclusive of a lot of local flavor and things like that?
Yeah. The great thing about the food was because when you're doing ayahuasca, there's a certain diet you're supposed to adhere to, and it's a clean diet. All raw food, no salt, no seasoning, pretty much all organic raw foods. And it was all really, really tasty. There was, rice, beans, fresh fruit, pineapple, mango, papaya, tangerines, all the good stuff, avocado, and usually with each meal, like lunch and dinner, there was some kind of fish dish which had vegetables, and it was all steamed perfectly. It was, everything was really, really tasty. I wouldn't call it bland, but could have used a little salt here and there. But yeah, to kind of really get the most benefits out of doing ayahuasca, you want a nice clean diet leading up to it and kind of after it.
Sure.
And but yeah, after the ceremonies were over, a few days after we finished up all our ayahuasca, then they started adding salt and seasoning to the food.
Oh, okay.
Like the lentils were, it was weird. Like after having all organic, no seasonings, and then now they start adding salt to it. You're like, oh my god, everything's so flavorful. It was powerful, and everyone kind of had a little bit of an upset stomach because you kind of like, this is so good, but then you kind of overeat, and the seasonings and everything kind of overwhelm you, and kind of ravish your digestion and everything. But you kind of work your way back in, and then at this point they started adding chicken to the menu. And so I heard that they had caiman, like fried caiman. I don't know if it was actually caiman. It just tasted like really good fried fish. That's more than likely what I thought it was, but I like to think it was caiman.
Possibly
Who knows?
It was caiman,
Who
yeah.
knows?
They could have came in and lied to you.
Oh, hey.
And I'm done.
Mike's
My bad.
Matt's dropping the mic. Good night.
Did they cook the caiman with cumin?
Cumin. No cumin.
No cumin.
Nope. No
No
cumin.
horse heads and no cumin. I don't know about that.
Jason's like, I'm
I
out.
don't
Suddenly I'm
know.
questioning this.
Horse said one thing, but cumin?
No
Yeah,
cumin.
well, it was cool, and they had a really good staff there. I mean,
Yeah.
it was all Peruvian women for the most part, and then some younger guys who drove the boats and helped with the heavy lifting and things like that. But yeah, the staff was all really, really awesome. None of them spoke any English, but it's all good.
Yeah.
You can kind of vaguely,
Just-
converse with them with
Yeah.
really basic Spanish and pointing.
Okay, yeah. A lot of gesticulation.
Yeah.
Do they know this? Money?
Oh yeah, Peruvians love damn soles. Yeah, they like that money.
I can imagine.
And
Did you bring anything back that was
Contagious?
No, just anything that was very indigenous, I guess you could say.
yeah, I brought some jewelry back, like this necklace over here. It's got a piranha jaw on it.
Okay.
See all the feathers thing
Yeah.
right there. And then I've got an anaconda, supposedly an anaconda skin up there.
He brought me this, a little piece
Oh
of the
yeah,
ayahuasca
that's a
vine.
little piece of ayahuasca vine right there.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I got this cool tapestry, and it's got the ayahuasca flower on it. It's all embroidered on there.
Okay.
So yeah, just some of that kind of neat stuff, just
Sure,
kind of
sure.
commemorate the trip and
That's cool.
have some good memories of it like that.
The
You're like, ayahuasca.
I can taste it. My stomach.
The retreat itself, is it a fenced compound? Is it pretty much open?
Yeah,
air,
it's open.
everything?
It's got trails. You can walk into the jungle, go on hikes and things like that.
Is it all privately owned land?
Oh yes, all
sort of-
privately. It's
Okay.
all under. It's considered a sanctuary, so
Okay.
no one can come in there and try to chop down the trees, or they they can't go in there and try to people go down there and poach wild birds and monkeys and all kinds of things so they could sell on the black market.
Right.
But if you were to get caught in that what's
That area.
considered the sanctuary, which is about 200 acres, so it's pretty
Decent
large.
size,
Yeah, it's a large area. And Don Howard, he's the main guy. He's an American. He's been going down to Peru since for a long time, for like 50 plus years, and he's been running the sanctuary for a little over 20 years. So he's had that land for quite a long time, and he's had to have some battles with people poaching trees and poaching animals and just trying to encroach on his area, which is
Entirely.
being
off
an
limits.
American, you got to kind of stand up for yourself in Peru because they'll take advantage of you down there. It's really the Wild West. I mean, you kind of have to. Not that there was any danger of anything like that. Like there weren't any dangers of anacondas or jaguars or anything like that. I mean, you'd have to really get deep down into the jungle to really worry about things like that.
Yeah.
But there's always a possibility of something coming around that could probably hurt you. But I never got the impression that we were in any danger or needed fences up around us or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was very safe. Like it was the first time I'd never even thought about like locking my door or anything like that because no one's going to steal anything. Like the staff's not going to steal anything. No one there doing ayahuasca is, I would hope, would ever have the idea of like, oh, I'm going to go snoop around someone's room and steal something. I don't know. But yeah, I felt safe the entire time I was there.
That's
yeah.
cool.
Every once in a while, it was like really dark, and you're walking down a path, and I'm like, I bet a fucking snake could come up here and just be waiting.
Snatch you.
Yeah, a little whoosh. Those fucking green vipers or something.
Oh yeah.
That smells like
that.
cumin.
Well, that did.
I'm not a fan of snakes.
Did you see anything while you were down there, just on a hike as far as
Yeah,
wildlife?
we saw some iguanas and some millipedes and some pretty interesting insects. Some amazing butterflies. Just the colors of them were so vibrant and colorful.
Yeah.
Really blows your mind to just see it naturally in the wild like that. And someone did see a small monkey. I never saw an actual monkey like where we were. I only saw monkeys at the animal retreat. But yeah, someone early in the morning saw a monkey up in the trees. I'm like, so the whole time I was there, I'm like, I gotta see a fucking monkey. Never saw one though.
What if a monkey snuck down, took a sip of the ayahuasca, lingered, and then gets up after 6 hours and goes, "Thank you."
Be like,
And
we're making progress. We're
walks
making
back into the
progress.
jungle.
Yeah.
Oh, this is why you do this.
Oh,
Walks bipedally back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right when you
This
did
is
that.
what I've
it's
been
like,
missing all this time.
yeah. Your perspective is so limited, humans.
God, if I was stuck like this the whole time.
I can't do it.
So anything a little bit more predatory at all, like a centipede or a bird hunting spider or something like
No,
that?
nothing like that. No, that would have been cool to see stuff like that. But
That is weirdly refreshing for me to hear.
Mhm.
I think I've had like a crazy bias against like Amazon. I remember when, like in middle school, you could go to like
Vandergrift.
Costa Rica. They went to.
They went to the Congo too. Do you remember? It might have been later. When
Yeah, it wasn't
Vandergrift
with
did
me.
that.
But anyway, I just remember before they went on that trip, we did like a whole section on that, and they talked about nothing but like insects and animals and stuff. And I was like, hell no,
Yeah.
hell no, I could never do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was a kid, and I was just afraid of it. But
Yeah.
it's just, I think I always had this image of like the fucking wild jungle. There's freaking piranhas around all your boats, you know,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
just like shouldn't go there.
Yeah, the worst thing is the mosquitoes. That is the worst thing. And they don't really have too many cases of malaria down there, but you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the worst thing is mosquitoes, and that's mostly at night when you really got to worry about them.
Was it like comparable to like the river mosquitoes, where you just kind of want to be all lathered up?
Yeah, I guess this time of year or December when I went down there is a pretty mild time for mosquitoes.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I think summer it's a little worse.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
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 Awesome.
Yeah, man. I'm telling everybody this. Like, I don't want to be like this, just because I've done it. Now I've got to like tell everybody about it. But I really do think most people would be shocked at how beneficial it would be just to do 3 ceremonies down in the jungle of ayahuasca. I think just taking a break from your day-to-day life and just immersing yourself in a completely different culture and different environment and just being away from electronics is beneficial on its own. And when you really think about it, like, I really didn't spend that much money to go down there to experience something that's really, truly life-changing. Yeah. I could have spent this money and went to, I don't know, Cabo or something and just got drunk the entire time and definitely would have gotten, hungover and felt like shit and,
Zero
you
benefit.
know. Yeah. Not really any benefit except for some hazy memories and things
It's
like
like
that.
escape versus experience.
Oh, yeah.
Vacation.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
As far as, like, if you want to call it a vacation,
I do consider it a vacation, but it was much more, way more than just
A vacation with content.
Yeah, for
Right,
sure.
right.
It was, for sure, content.
Certainly an unorthodox. I think by most standards,
Definitely unorthodox for sure.
Yeah.
I can't English.
No, neither can I.
Yeah. Well,
Welcome to Cabin Fever.
When you broke it down for me, like cost wise and everything, I mean, my parents had taken a Bahamas cruise for, I think, a little bit more than what you paid to go. So I mean, yeah, definitely,
And
getting a lot for your.
And and I think I probably could have done my plane tickets a little cheaper depending on the time, because it all depends on the time you buy your tickets and all this. So I probably could have gotten, maybe saved $100 in all, maybe $200 in all. But still, I was able to get all the flights I was supposed to get. I got down there, without any layovers and really, no problems at all. Like, I got everywhere where I needed to. Exactly. Everything lined up perfectly, and there was a lot of things that could have went wrong along the way, which didn't, thankfully. And it seemed like most people had good luck with their journey as well, especially with it being, December leading up to, everyone's got the holidays coming up and all that stuff. And it was actually a great time like Matt said, I didn't really think about it beforehand, but it was probably a really good time to be out of the country, just be away from that whole, the holiday hoopla of Christmas and all the shit that's leading up to, to when I came back. I felt like it was a nice break.
What was the weather like when you were down there?
Amazing. It's humid. It's hot.
Right.
It's pretty comfortable at night. Like, I would usually try to hang out at the hammock, and they also have this pretty neat area. It's called the Star Deck. And it's up on a hill, completely open. So if it's a clear night, most nights it would either rain or just be overcast. But it's not cold, really. It's just less humid.
Sure.
But on those clear nights, amazing views of the stars. And one time I went up there, and I was probably only up there for 15 minutes and saw maybe 6 or 7, shooting stars, meteors coming through our atmosphere.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Random question. You were down there, and this is one of those things you kind of take for granted until you notice a change.
Mm-hmm.
When you were down there, was like the olfactory element of it different? Like the smells, like when you're walking around, was it like a completely different environment, or was it like pretty much everything you had been accustomed to up here, or? Did you notice a change at all? I mean, being out there in the rainforest, was it a different?
Yeah, absolutely, most definitely, because when you're here in the city, no matter what, you're going to hear a fire truck or sirens off in the distance. You're going to hear signs of people out in the jungle. All you're going to hear are the people that are in your little group. But if you go off, you don't hear anything but the jungle.
Yeah.
And you just all you see is greenery and plants, and if you were to just stand there and slow down and just kind of listen, you start hearing different layers of sounds, be it insects all the way up to birds, up to maybe a mammal scurrying in the bushes that you can't quite see but you can hear it, that type of thing. Or, you hear a boat off in the distance. Here's my mic. You hear a boat off in the distance, going on the Amazon. And then you just smell the jungle. Or when it's raining, I love the rain. So it was nice to be there because it rained every day when you're there at some point.
Right.
And just the smell of the rain is refreshing. And to me, it was just like completely just a cleansing experience. It's like a new slate almost, a new start. You know, even though I've come back, and now I still kind of feel like I still have old remnants of things I still need to work through. Obviously, I'm not done with ayahuasca. Like I'm ready to go back again. I just want to go back down with a couple of friends this time. Like I want to be there to experience ayahuasca with some of my friends. Not that I didn't make probably lifelong friends with the people that I met for the first time on this experience,
Sure.
but I'd like to take some of my, friends that I've known for years and years that I know that would truly, truly benefit from ayahuasca. I want to go down again, and it's not that much money to do it. And the way that the retreat's set up now, like Don Robert and Don Howard, they're both in their 60s. They're older gentlemen. Who knows how long they'll actually be able to keep it up and keep doing it. And the way it's set up now, I would love to go back again and still be able to have an experience with Don Robert, and because he is an awesome shaman. He's like the head guy, ayahuasquero, like true master.
And you spoke to these guys, and
they speak Spanish, so unfortunately, I really want to learn Spanish, like at least be able to have a somewhat decent conversation with him next time I go down. So that's one of my goals, is to really start to learn Spanish. But yeah, obviously you can talk to Don Howard. He's an American. He's awesome to talk to. You can talk to him about anything. It doesn't even have to be ayahuasca. It doesn't have to be about Peru. It can be anything. Just anything that is happening in your life. If you have questions about, he's a great person to go to. Like he's just a wise, really down to earth guy. Like, and he doesn't come off like he's trying to run a cult or culty leader or anything like that. And even people down there, like this one guy, Jit, really cool guy. He's done like a lot of crazy stuff, like MMA. He's done like this crazy run out in the middle of the Mojave Desert. Like it's like 150 miles through the desert.
Oh, like an ultra marathon.
Ultra marathon, yeah.
Oh, wow,
He did one of those, and
That's
the
pretty
dude's like
intense.
he like really tries to
really
push
intense.
himself.
Yeah.
The way he was describing, like at a certain point, he was like going through his mind, like he was looking for snakes to bite him. He wanted to get bit by a snake so he had a good reason to quit.
To quit? Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
He never found that snake, and he kept going.
Yeah.
He eventually finished it, but the way he was describing is like hard fucking core.
Well, that's the sort of thing when you're out in the Mojave doing that. I mean, you have to run in the white lines.
Yeah.
Because your shoes will melt if you run in the asphalt.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
If you're in India, like Dean Karzaza's stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hardcore stuff.
Crazy.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Where's the Mojave Desert? Is that in California? Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I know where it is then.
Have you been to Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Then you've been to the Mojave.
Okay. I knew it. I was thinking like Sahara, like a foreign desert. Anyway.
I think it was the Mojave. It might have been Sarah, but I don't know.
I don't think it was Sahara.
Yeah.
Sahara's in
Probably the
Africa.
Mojave.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah.
Complete.
Yeah, the Mojave's the big Southern Californian desert. I mean,
Yeah,
right.
we're pretty much in the Mojave. Not really, but
Outskirts of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
What are we? What's San Diego considered again? What's it? High desert? Something like that.
Well, San Diego City is a Mediterranean climate.
Oh, is that what it is?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Just
I guess
the
we're pretty
city,
similar to.
But yeah.
Minus all the Italians.
Mm.
Well, most of
Did-
them.
Thank God. No one talks about it, but thank God. No.
They would appreciate the horse head.
They would.
Right.
Absolutely, they would. Matt, you got any questions? Come on, my friend. You got to have something.
I don't at the moment. No.
Oh, you motherfucker.
I've heard this story.
I know
before.
you have, but
I'm done
something
with
must
it.
have
I have
popped
another
up.
one.
Yeah,
I'm
you
past
just-
it. No,
yeah,
I'm just
totally.
kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I have another question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anything, man. Anything.
The
And I want you to come. I think you would definitely
Down to
love to
Peru?
do it. Yeah. Fuck yeah,
Just
dude.
in
Come
general.
with me to Peru.
It sounds interesting. I have to admit, it sounds really fascinating.
And
On a
my first time
multitude of
talking
levels.
with you, that was like the scaled down quick version just because we're recording a podcast. If we were off air, I would just completely go into more detail about everything. But I think I did a pretty good job of it. Yeah, and I'm not even done with what I have to talk about. So there's still part 3. We'll hopefully get through the rest of it. Yeah, a lot of shit. Yeah, what was your question?
Yeah, one last question. I guess you could. I'm trying to. The native population there. Your interactions with them. How did that go?
Yeah,
What
the
was
cool
it
thing
like?
with we got to meet up with 3 different tribes,
Okay.
and 2 of the tribes were transplanted still from South America, And then one of the tribes was transplanted from a different part of Peru. And so, yeah, we got to visit those tribes, and they'll do like a native dance. They'll usually talk about their culture, how they got there, to that area.
Okay.
And we usually, we'd bring gifts for them, a cooking oil, just kind of necessities that they would need to kind of function as a tribe. They kind of like drag us up there. We, go in a big circle and kind of dance around with them. And that was a lot of fun. That was pretty neat. And yeah, I definitely recommend checking out the videos because I've got footage of most of those ceremonies and things like that. And one of the tribes, completely topless, was pretty cool. Very like National Geographic, which is very surreal to actually like, be there in that moment. You're not thinking like, oh, look at those nice titties over there. You're just like, wow, this is real. This is like how
very
they
endemic. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
this is their day to day. They don't give a shit. This is just how they live their lives, and it was great.
It's fascinating.
And the last tribe was that we visited. We were on this thing called Huchuma, which is basically San Pedro. It's a San Pedro cactus, and which is a very heart-opening type of medicine. So you're very jovial and happy, and just good spirits, and we got to visit this tribe, and they're the least contacted tribe, so not that many people actually go and visit them. The other two tribes, they're very, once they're done with their song and dance, they're just all over you trying to sell you their trinkets and their artwork and stuff.
Yeah.
If they would just like calm down, slow down, and weren't so aggressive, it'd probably be a little bit better of experience, especially dealing with Americans and things like that. And I'm sure from what I get, Europeans are, they don't deal with that type of shit, so they're a little bit more rude about it.
Okay.
But they kind of look at Americans as kind of naive, and they'll kind of like try to upsell you, like try to
Bit of a stereotype there.
yeah, exactly. So you kind of got used to little kids come up to you trying to like sell you stuff really quick, and you're just like, no, thank you, no gracias, whatever. But the last tribe, they were much more lax about it because they're not used to trying to upsell and trying to like make money and things like that. So the last tribe was much more relaxed and calm and good. And yeah, sorry, that chair sucks.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. Yeah. So yeah, it was great to kind of get inside feel for that type of culture. And so towards the end of the whole trip, we went to Lima, and we got to kind of experience Lima. And Lima's it's like a up-to-date type of city. Like it's not like Iquitos, which is much more, it's further into the jungle. It's
a little bit more rudimentary.
Much more rural, and little shanty houses and tiny houses and things like that. And Lima's like a big city and city life and things like that. And they have like great restaurants, really good food, and it's all pretty cheap for an American to go down there.
Yeah.
And live like a king.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah,
and Lima's a beautiful city. I'd love to kind of explore it a little bit more next time I go down. Probably hit up Lima and then hopefully go see Machu Picchu or something.
Yeah.
Machu Picchu's outside of Lima?
No, it's closer to Iquitos, I would think. Yeah.
Okay.
But, it might be in between. I think it's... I think Iquitos is further north, and then Machu Picchu is further down. And then Lima's closer to the coast.
Did you try guinea pig? And there's a word for it down there. I can't remember what it is, but
no, didn't see any guinea pig. I would have tried it though if I had the opportunity. Yeah.
I just had an image of like a street vendor with one on a stick. You just buy it.
If I ever found a roasted guinea pig on a skewer, I would put the horse head on, and I would hold it
in celebration,
and I would be very happy.
I found it. The caption on your future Facebook profile picture would be, "I'm smiling under the horse head. I'm elated." The horse head should convey elation. You should just.
It does.
Yeah.
Does, bucket list check.
Great. Well, this is a good one. I mean, we can continue talking.
Oh yeah. We can. Yeah, we'll.
I want to make sure it's saved.
Yeah, we'll cap off this podcast. Sure. Oh yeah, thank you, Jason, for coming on by, and we got to talk about Lipscomb, bring up the old days, and go a little bit into the Peru ayahuasca retreat.
really glad I got to talk with you about this because I've been wondering ever since you got back.
Yeah.
What was it all about? How was the experience? And
Yeah.
wanting to talk to you about it for a while.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm very glad
Yeah,
I
it's a
got
pretty
to-
epic journey.
Thank
there.
you.
Yeah, man, you're welcome.
All right.
All right, thank you, everybody. Adios.
Here we go.
Bye.
tasting for himself the bitter gall of conflicts unresolved, potentials unfulfilled.
My knowledge is supreme, pushing product to the fiends. Caking up is way far from waking up out of dreaming. I done seen a lot of things from wealthiness to robbery, righteousness to poverty. Now it's all inside of me, child of the 70s. Born for you to cherish me, degrees I drop steadily, representing the ebony. Messages through the melodies, heart beating fast like a cut, close felony. Cutthroats trailing me, I'm so original that I'm damn near alien. Got government issues hopping out bulletproof Mercedes Benzes. Black mafia, government guard, rap philosophers. Screw face, the new faces popping up. My bloodline from meteorite to micro, unidentified from out the universal freedom cipher to God. Power, rain, hell, snow, my thunder starter. My mythology was Icarus underwater.
Don't think back on me at all. Just let me go. Don't think back on me at all. Just let me go. Don't think back on me at all. Don't think back on me at all. Don't think back on me at all. I'm in a crowd, I knew what it was time to kill. Thinking back, I forgot to tell you this. I didn't care that you left and abandoned me. What hurts more is I would still die for you. I'm in a crowd, I knew what it was time to kill. Thinking back, I forgot to tell you this. I didn't care that you left and abandoned me. What hurts more is I would still die for you.
Instead of acknowledging how he feels, he hides his anger behind